Hello, everybody, and welcome to Let's Intentionally Get the Bad Endings for Katawa Shoujo. So I don't know if this is gonna be a long episode or a short episode, but let's continue. It also motivates me to look for her right then and there, although I don't have to look very hard. She's in the student council room, as always. Worrying, Misha isn't with her. When Shizu notices me and looks up from her paperwork, the first thing I ask is where she is. I don't know. There is some there is so much uncertainty in her answer that I can't let it go just like that. She's missing a lot of school. Are you the attendance police? That's really strange coming from the student council president. Shizun hides a laugh behind a cupped hand, and I start to think that I might be worrying for nothing. But then her laughter slowly fades away in a more serious and pensive expression. You're right. Yesterday, I catch a hint of a knowing smile on her face that she sees my poorly hidden panic at the word. Despite her best efforts, she can't help being satisfied in electing surprise from everyone else, to the very end. Even then, I can see that she has bigger concerns for how quickly her smile vanishes. Before either of you noticed me, I saw that you were saying I'm not stupid. I saw what you were saying, I'm not stupid. If I hadn't, I could see through Misha while we were walking back. Even if she hadn't told me everything later. She didn't make a big deal out of it, but anyway, you look at it, it's my fault, isn't it? But anyway, you look at it, it's my fault, isn't it? What did she tell you? Shizun winces at the question, though it is clear she's been expecting it. She follows it up with a very grand gesture. A lot. Like that I could be selfish and confusing. I try too hard to bring people around me and then push them away. I don't know what I should do. I thought she was right to mention all of those things, so I just agreed with her, but that only made things worse. I don't understand. Adjusting her glasses, she looks pretty tired. I hope it isn't because she's been busy avoiding Misha, but I can't help consider I can't help considering the possibility, seeing where this conversation is going. It's true, even the student council being this small and us always being swamped with work is my fault. I might have been I might have even ended up driving a lot of people off and away from the student council acting like that. Shizun wags a finger mischievously, acknowledging that might is an understatement. However, from how wearily she does it, it's obvious the humor is only to put me at ease, and therefore not genuine. Like Lily, for instance, she was the first person to join when I started trying to recruit people again, after everyone else left because they couldn't stand me, I guess. We managed to put together the last festival, and even ran a boot together at the last minute. But I didn't like her, because I thought she was selfish, always holding us up in order to tend to one friend of hers or another, and leaving Misha and I alone to sort out things was involving the whole school by ourselves. If there were any problem she was going through, she would leave us high and dry while she panicked over it and wouldn't come back until it was solved. She would focus on it 100% and be too preoccupied to focus on any student council work. That was the worst to me. And she could be so nice and still take so many people for granted. Why even join the student council then? It seems so short-sighted and selfish, don't you think? But it's actually me who's that way. Like Bishop said, always trying to pull people close to me and then shutting them out. Uh, That is how I've treated her, which makes me a bad friend. Excuse me. And it feels like I did the same thing to you. Then so I guess I'm a bad girlfriend, too. Even if Misha says that, you might as well replace her. I'm angry that I screwed things up enough for it to get this out of hand. All I wanted was to. She pauses to look for the right words, testing her fingers and concentrating. Make people happy, I think. Even though that seems like a simple way to put it. As she rents her hands against her head. What? Her head against her head. Shizune's bangs fall delicately across her eyes, hidden behind those polished glasses, reflecting just the thinnest bit of light. It would be wrong to think so, but right now she seems especially beautiful, like a more complete person. It feels like this is the first chance to respond to her outpouring of emotion. Replacing Misha as Shizune's interpreter? Misha must be joking. It took all my energy to keep up with her just now. Her sighing filled with gestures that I've never seen before. Likely their habits picked up from Misha and developed from years of being with together. I could never replace someone so close to her. I like you because I like you, not because I got tricked into it by you. Despite how hard she's tried, anyway, I continue to stare back into her eyes as sharp as ever. The first thing I saw them, the first time I saw them, they had been a bit intimidating to me, like the eyes of a predator. That hasn't changed, which I find reassuring. I still want to make everyone happy, starting with Bisha. Shizune looks a bit annoyed that I would imply she would start with anyone else, and smiles comfortably as though a friend's sadness is a physical opponent. She just strangles into submission. Hold on, guys, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, you guys. I'm sorry for stopping so much. I've been having breathing problems for the past few weeks, and I always get the worst of it while I'm recording. Sucks, but what can I do? Of course, obviously, naturally. Taking off her glasses, she leans back into her chair and lets out a sigh. It's the first time I've seen her without them on, but I don't get a good look before she slips them back on. Whoa, I missed it too. But I'm too tired to start today. First thing tomorrow. Do you want to help? Yeah? And I have other student council stuff you could help me with while you're at it. Although it turns out that there isn't much other work at all. Okay. Oh, knocking at the door. There's no school today, so I expected to be able to sleep in late. Unfortunately, I'm awakened by someone mercilessly pounding on my door at 8 in the morning. At first, I think it could be Kenji, but when my shouts of annoyance go unanswered, I realize it's Shizune. She immediately backs away from the door when I open it, quickly concealing something behind her back. Kind of ominous. What's that? Is it a surprise? I don't really like surprises. the, dis- the displeased expression on her face says that she wants me to stop being such a wet blanket. But she's too busy fumbling what's behind her back to sign it. It must be frustrating for her, because seconds later she swings the object out, proudly and also a little dangerously. Ta-da! Picnic basket. Picnic basket. We can have lunch together, the three of us. It's not really a basket, it looks more like a plastic bag. Taking a quick look inside, I can see that the most of the food inside is also store-bought, not homemade. Some items still have the price sticker on. There's a little diverse selection there, though. A tiny tin of caviar. Caviar? What the fuck? I'm slowly becoming more impressed with this lunch. I pick a grape out of there and pop it into my mouth. Don't just take things like that. I spent all time perfecting this final weapon. Shizune places it down on the ground to free up her hands and immediately starts playful tapping in between her feet like a soccer ball. Definitely not what you should do to anything you're going to call a final weapon. All part of my get Misha to stop being so depressed plan. I stayed up all last night working on it. When we tried to order in last time, Misha barely got anything and used it as an excuse to leave early. I won't let her get off so easily this time. The food is already here. She'll have to sit down and eat with us. It's the perfect bait. Doesn't everything look irresistible? I tried to make it myself, but I don't know how to make it look all fancy, so I ended up buying everything. Still looks delicious, doesn't it? It would be. She's very perky today, juiced up on the thought of cheering Misha up, although it's odd to see her so happy about it. I know that she's just as unsure now as she was yesterday. The only thing that has changed is that by viewing it as another sort of challenge for herself, she can put her worries aside and throw herself into it recklessly. It has worked well enough for Shizune so far. It wouldn't surprise me if it's the only way she knows how to live. It's a little early though. It's already 8 in the morning. That's late. Even Misha gets up at 8 or 9. She goes to bed at 7 p.m., but that isn't important. It's very important. Shizune ignores me gagging my hands by taking them in hers instead of a more proper rebuttal. The way she lingers against me a moment longer than expected, feels really comforting. The point is, she's awake right now, walking around somewhere. Let's go find her. She sprints out the door impatiently, and her gusto as she drags me along looking for Misha, making me feel like I'm following a hunter on a safari than looking for a mutual friend. We don't have to look hard. Even cropped shorts. What? Even cropped short, her pink hair stands out. God. The fact that she's just meandering around the grounds out in the open makes it even easier. Now I'm sounding like a safari hunter. Huh? Misha! Huh? We were just looking for you. It's a good day for a picnic. You should join us. We even have caviar. Not sturgeon, of course, but really tasty. Caviar? Surgeon. What the heck is surgeon? Apparently finding it annoying to have to explain anything at length with only one hand, Shizune gives up quickly. Fish eggs. What? It tastes good. Sorry, Shichan, I think I'll pass for today. When Misha starts to walk away, Shizune holds up the bag out towards me, needing me to take it so that her hands can be free. As soon as it's out of her hands, she darts in front of Misha, cutting her off. I made so much food though. Sorry, I'm not hungry right now. Ah. When are you going to be hungry then? Shichan, that's impossible to know. You can guess. The tension between them infuriates Shizune, and she's trying to deal with it by trying to tear through it. But that approach isn't going to work. I thought and hoped that Misha had gotten herself together, but I guess she was just cut too deep by what happened. In that case, it's really out of anyone's hands. I believe that Shizune might understand that on some level. If she didn't, she wouldn't have any doubts at all. Because she can't speak, though, I've learned to notice her hesitations. It's very clear. She might as well be screaming. Misha waves her hands in front of her, not wanting to continue the discussion any further, and quickly slips away. Shizune fumes silently, reluctant to let her go, but having no way to keep her here. As Misha's back grows smaller in the distance, I wonder where she's heading off to. Is Shizune wondering the same thing as she bites her lip in frustration? I want to touch her. I want to touch her reassuringly on the shoulder, but I stop myself from knowing if it's the right thing to do. It's not because she looks fragile, vulnerable, or sad. It's the opposite. After a while, her expression belies no emotion at all. Only contemplation. Suddenly, she whirls around. Not all this food is going to waste. Yeah, that makes me mad. Although it's obvious, Shizune is more hurt than mad. The dag dangling from my hand feels like it's filled with lead. Let's go on a date. Let's use it then. Huh? Where do you want to go? I don't know. The roof? It's my favorite spot. A weary smile appears on her face, disappearing just as quickly. On the roof, I immediately crack open the caviar, ignoring a derisive look from Shizune all the while. I end up putting it down immediately. Where are the toast points? I didn't make any. Like I told you, I brought everything. Not toast points, though. No, not toast points, though? Why is that important? Anyway, they don't sell just toast points. They would be stupid. That would be stupid. I bet they do. Maybe in stores for the exponentially lazy, but not here. Why don't you use a tortilla chip? A tortilla chip is not the same. They're both triangles. Stop being such a stop being such a princess. I don't know. Was a proper way to eat caviar. This is the first I'm hearing of it. It's not the same thing at all. I can't be decadent like this. And anyway, how can she not know? She lives in a huge mansion. Shizune makes the opportunity takes the opportunity to scoop half the tin onto a single chip in the meantime. Hey, I'm sure it doesn't even taste good like that. Huh? There's too much food here for two people because we can't communicate with each other while we eat, but Shizune and I have a lot of time to sit in silence and think about the fact that Misha, the person she set all this up for, isn't here. It's annoying that she isn't here. I can't even enjoy my meal like this. I stare at the paper cup next to her, still half filled with juice. I thought you didn't want to waste all the food, so I thought you didn't want all this food to go to waste there. I wanted Misha to be here too. That was the whole point. I wasn't able to accomplish what I wanted to, so it doesn't taste good. You shouldn't eat it. Eat more. You should eat it. Eat more. I want the fried things, though. You keep eating them all, even though you say they don't taste good. Fried things are always delicious. There's always an exception for that. You'll get fat. I think you're being too aggressive. It's like I told you yesterday. I'm only trying to cheer up. Yeah, but it seems more like you're planning a military campaign. I'm only to try to take it seriously. And this is the only way I know how to do it seriously. I feel so powerless, I hate it. I can't even yell at her, too, even though I want to. Yelling is for serious occasions, right? Yeah. You should yell at Misha for me. You can tell her that I want her to stop being so down. Even if she feels sad and alone, it's no reason to stay gloomy forever. Why don't you? I already did. Over a game of dice. Under over, to be exact, I won. 5 times. Only the two of them would make so much pride in winning games of pure chance. Then I tried to talk to her, but it didn't go so well, obviously. Well, so did I. I tried and failed. My goal has always been to do everything better, though. Yeah, your one-upmanship is really something. But I failed too. That's why I want your help. I don't understand what I'm supposed to do anymore. For someone like Shizune who has only ever interacted with the world by locking horns with every obstacle in her path, understanding only goes so far. I want to tell her that she doesn't have to worry. That she is great at cheering people up because she manages to cheer me up the first week here. In retrospect, I must have looked like a kind of a dick, being in such a sore mood from the moment I came here. Even though I don't think I was being unreasonable. Even having months to digest it, finding out that you have a heart defect like I did is hard to deal with. I had much less time to mull over suddenly being transferred to Yamaku on top of that. Spending the festival with Shizune really helped me out of a rut. I was happy enough to forget that the entire time it felt as if though she were manipulating me. I understand now that I had probably allowed myself to be manipulated. Even though I felt like I was at the bottom of the world, I still wanted to have a normal life again. I'm sure because I wanted I'm sure because I enjoy what I have now. I think it must be the same for everyone, including Misha. Everyone wants someone to pull them up out of their self-pity. It's just that Misha always wanted Shizune to be that person. But because they can't be together, I think Misha feels that she can't accept Shizune's hand. And that frustrates Shizune. But if she could cheer up a stranger like me, then she'll die trying with Misha. I can see in her eyes too, though she tries to treat it like any other problem in her life. Shizune cannot do that with Misha's depression. Her thought processes are entirely different, in some ways more careful, in some way more reckless and frantic. She cares that much more. I end up not saying anything, partly because sitting next to her feel like this, just the two of us, is pleasant enough in itself, and I don't want to interrupt the moment with a question. And partly for a more cowardly reason, I started to think that weren't, but they that what? I started to think they weren't, but I don't know if her actions that day might have been an afterthought, or even a fluke, just as a collection of coincidences. I don't know if that would change anything, but I'm uncomfortable thinking about it. The fence behind me trembles slightly, and I turn to see if that it's because Shizune has fallen asleep leaning against it. Considering she was up all night, it's not surprising. Where does all this motivation come from? Not just a regard to Misha. I'm cynical, so it's hard for me to just accept that anyone can simply be that strong. My first thought was that maybe it's because she hates herself. It's very plausible. Leaning against her, I feel sad knowing that that might be the case. But it could be that we're similar in that we both want to be better people. Do 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 la 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 do do do. All right. Do I wake up? It seems like I ate too much yesterday because I wake up in the morning feeling just nauseous enough for it to be a problem. I really can't postpone going into town for shopping though. So despite wanting to roll over and sleep in anyway, I force myself to get up and dress instead. Somewhere between buying toothpaste and a few other groceries, I end up walking it off. Then I feel hungry. After stopping for breakfast, it hits me how much time has gone by. I hadn't expected to be out this long at all. I'm not even sure if I bothered to lock my door. I should really get back. When I get back to the dorm, I see Hidetide standing in front of my room from the entrance. I can think of a few things more unexpected, but and I can't help thinking I might have a heart attack just from the surprise. Fortunately, it doesn't happen. As soon as he sees me, it's a guy. Sorry, I wasn't like I didn't really read into Shizun's path. So this is a dude. He says hello in his usual detached way. I'm a little slow to reply to him, so he repeats the greeting without missing a beat. Hello? Is something wrong? I'm just surprised to see you here. Not as surprised as I could have been, since it's impossible to mistake him for anyone else. I'd recognize those weird clothes anywhere. Come to think of it, I'm already surrounded myself with distinctive looking people lately. Hideki's head. Hideki's? Is that his name? Head lolls slightly to one side, a little too easily. Why? Why? It's uneasy to see someone cover as I see them. Well, yeah, actually. So, Hideki isn't such a robot after all. In fact, it's almost as if he's more caught off guard by the fact he even can what? He even can be caught off guard, but he recovers quickly. Nevertheless, in this brief moment, he looks his age. That uncomfortable side of his seems like the more honest, and I wouldn't mind seeing that more of it. Not so much though that I'd go out of my way to pry. Only Shizune would be that zealous that my thoughts get so far in proof she is rubbing off on me. I'd think you what? I think that you'd have a reason, that's all. There is one. See? Anyway, we can talk while we're looking for her. That's why you're here, right? Shizune is in the student council room. I was looking for you. We might take a trip soon. A family trip. Do you think she would want to come with us? Yeah, I don't know. She's kind of being on the warpath lately. Like with a lot of stuff. And once she focused on something, she won't just drop it. I guess you would know that. Mmm. Hideki looks much more at ease walking around than I did my first week. So, is this your first time here? Just throwing it out there, of course. Completely ignoring the surrounding environment could just run in the family. It explains why Hideki seems so distant from Shizune. I get the feeling there's more to it than just her deafness. No, but it's the first time I could walk around so much. It's kind of weird here. I bumped into a person who told me women are not allowed in the dorms. That's Genji. After I told him I'm not a woman, he told me I was misleading, and then accused me of being an assassin. I was warned that he was not only invincible, but strong enough to probably destroy the building with a punch, or at least knock over the painting hanging on the hallway. By the way, the painting is actually screwed to the wall. Yeah, that's the guy across the hall from me. He's okay. I see. Only you left the door open. It was unlocked when I came here. It's a little annoying that Hideki knows that. The only way he could is if he opened my door. But the feeling passes. It doesn't matter. I have nothing to hide or steal. Your soccer ball is really nice. That's that's one of the things that doesn't matter. If you are a soccer player, a soccer ball is very important. I guess it is. That thought makes me smile. I'm here because my father bought a new phone and he wanted to update Shizune in case she needs to call him. I thought that you should know too, since you're her boyfriend, aren't you? Yeah? Why? Just in case there is something wrong or she needs anything. It isn't what I meant, but I'll go along. Even if she did, she probably wouldn't call. That is how she is. Well, if you know, coming all the way here for that though. He could have updated her via email. He does not like using emails. That's so old fashioned. Don't tell me he still does business through regular mail or something. Silence, now it's my turn to feel awkward. Is Hideki taking it literally, or did I hit the mark? Now I'm sure that what it really comes down to is that he doesn't want to see his daughter and stay in contact with her. In the end, they're still family after all, even though they play at being at each other's throats. The door to the student council room is open, and Hideki and I walk into Jigoro. Look at this freaking weird ass guy. In mid rant, he sees us and decides that it's not something worth stopping rambling at Shizune over. This is really shaking my faith in my previous assumption. When I said in the student council when I said when I was in the student council room, our room was smaller, colder too, like working out of a meat locker. Not like you spoiled kids. What a waste sitting here in your giant room doing nothing. Huh. Aren't there only 3 of you? That makes having so many desks only seem like an unnecessary display of mindless decadence. Appalling. You must use the desk you need, and not one more. It's part of my code. It may be odd of me to think so, but hearing only one half of a conversation is pretty strange. Also, that's some code. Now that I've arrived, he changed the subject and starts talking about the reason he's here. Hideki and I are going on a trip. Huh? What are you doing? Does everyone who uses sign language mumble while they do it? No, but I'm just an amateur. It helps me think. It's kind of like force of habit. Just an amateur. Unbelievable. Fine. He turns back to Shizune just in time to catch her shaking her head from side to side. Are you sure you won't be coming along? She retaliates the gesture. Or wait. She reiterates the... I don't know that word. Fine. Can you tell her to call me if she needs anything? Yeah. I really think sending an email would be easier though. I'm not going to read emails on my phone. If she won't speak, she can call Hideki. I suppose if I have to be reached, you would have to call me. Or that other girl would have to call me. Humph. Actually, all 3 of you can just call Hideki. And with that, he swiftly turns and leaves, Hideki trailing behind him. A long trip for something that took 5 minutes. Neither of them can express their feelings very well. In Shizun's case, I have to question whether she would if she could. It explains a lot, but she doesn't seem unhappy with the arrangement. Even so, I wonder if she might be. When the door closes behind them, leaving Shizun and I by ourselves, she lets out a deep breath and seems to echo in silence over the room. It's totally ridiculous asking me to go on a trip. A timing couldn't be worse. It overlaps the student council elections for one. Second, I haven't even cheered up Misha. If you consider that, it's annoying to even have anything else to think about. Yeah, but you might be too forced on all that stuff right now. Shizun adjusts her glasses roughly. Completely 100% right. The minute I decided I was going to cheer up Misha, everything else went to the back burner, I suppose. I think her dad might care about you more than he lets on. I know. So then it could be a good idea. No. And then again, more firmly, as if for both of us. No. After coming this far, I can't take a break. A vacation would be jarring. It would be like waking up in a different life. Yesterday was like my vacation, so now we have to go all in. I'm sorry, but it's just how I am. I remember what Yuko said, that she found Shizune brave. In kind of a way, I think I understand what she meant. I have to agree, even though it could also be called recklessness or foolishness, and pointless stubbornness. I guess you could call it bravery too. However, I can see that there is a fundamental flaw in Shizune's thinking that I hadn't noticed until now. I'm sure that Shizune has reflected longer and more arduously than I could about how she messed up to create such a bad situation between her and Misha. However, as typical for her, she wouldn't let it hold her back and immediately set out to fix the problem. This completely ignores a large part of the problem. Misha herself moving from critical introspection to holding Misha up as part of a goal caused the person to get lost in the shuffle. Shizune has said a lot in the past few days, but nothing about how Misha feels. Shizune's way of thinking is abnormal. Few normal people would reject a friend and then expect things to go back to the way they were so easily. Shizune does, but she sees life as if... Sorry. I had to put it simply, capable of being segmented and compartmentalized. Compartmentalized. I'm gonna start using that word. Misha, like anyone else, sees it as a whole experience. A long, continuous journey where one moment of heartache can follow you forever. For Shizune, an event is an event, and a few of them cross over. Life is compartmentalized about triumphs, failures, and decisions, where each one stands as its own story. It's why the thought of a vacation is jarring to her. It's why she can only appreciate people's immediate emotions. It is exactly how someone obsessed with living in the moment would think, really. Likewise, Shizune can see Misha as a friend, but I doubt that she has ever thought of Misha as anything more until recently, or questioned anything about her. Misha is Misha, would be enough for her, even if to Misha it must be unbelievably stifling. Shizune is just Shizune to herself. It's likely she does even think about the after effects of her actions in long term, as long as they stir up other people's lives. To Misha, though, I'm sure it made her almost heroic. like Yuko admiring her bravery, and even myself. And Shizune's thought of the sentiment are that it was good. She could touch someone's life. What? But it ends up here. It ends up there. It ends there. Fuck. It's easy to captivate, much harder to nurture. On the next thing, thinking of life in terms of almost completely isolated events had a tendency to isolate a person too. Though she's trying to remedy it now, the point remains. There is simply no way Shizune could have avoided hurting Misha. Her emotional her emotion her emotional investment in Shizune has something Shizune couldn't account for. So she did it. Combined with the personality is inevitable. But both of them have pretty much told me all that it's bits and pieces over the past couple of months I've known them. In the middle of considering their differences, an idea begins to take shape in my mind. Are you working on your plan right now? This second? Your cheer up Misha plan? Of course I was thinking about it the whole time I was being yelled at. Flicking her glasses up to the bridge of her nose with an oddly triumphant air, she taps her fingers against her temples. It's multitasking. Really? Isn't it more like you're able to concentrate on something like that because you can't hear? Well, whatever. When I ask her what she thinks of mine, it turns out we're both arrived to a similar idea. God, I thought this was going to be quick. Well, I think next time I'll continue from here. See you guys later.